Good morning, Goshen College. My name is Jan Bender-Shuttler, Director of International Education and Professor of History, here to welcome you to the SST Convocation, where students returning this past spring from SST in Tanzania and both fall and spring from Ecuador report on their experiences. But before they get started, I want to say a few things about SST options coming up. It's been a tough year for study abroad everywhere, and we've not been able to travel internationally since two of these groups returned by the skin of their teeth in late March. We will start traveling again abroad in the fall, and we're working with students from the May and summer groups on other options. Please contact the SST office if you want to talk more about those options, or email me directly at jans@goshen.edu. If you want to be part of a semester abroad SST next year, you can go to Ecuador every semester, including an ASL unit in the fall, to China in the fall, and to Indonesia in the spring. In the summer, we will offer Senegal as well as Ecuador units. These are amazing opportunities, but you have to sign up now. Unless we have a full roster of students by November, we will cancel next fall's options. So don't wait. Sign up now by going to MyGC and looking for the SST enrollment button. You'll need to take language before you go and be part of orientation the semester before, so start preparing today. But you can also do SST in a combination of campus and immersive classes with travel in the U.S. or abroad for shorter periods. Those options for next year are not yet determined, but this spring we offer a full local SST semester on immigrants and refugees where you can stay on campus and it still has openings. We also offer a full SST on Native American cultures with a May term on campus, a global issues class online, and 2 immersive courses in Arizona on the Hopi and Navajo reservations later in the summer. So sign up now when advising starts tomorrow and contact the SST office if you want to know more. Now please welcome the spring group from Tanzania, led by Jonathan and Katie Schramm, and the fall and spring groups from Ecuador, led by Andrew and Ruth Hartzler. Over to you.
You hear a lot about the challenges of SST, but there's so much else that's just outright enjoyable.
Taking all these field trips across the country to these beautiful, beautiful places.
Something super fun about SST is having all the different travel opportunities you're given. Our group had gone on 2 weekend trips, and we spent 9 days traveling throughout the country together as well.
Getting to see all the different types of cultures and environments that you have never seen before ever in your life until now.
Beaches, mountains, forests, resorts, all sorts of different things. It was fantastic.
So we ended up going on this hike. We went up, hiked up the mountain. We were above the clouds. We could see like clouds coming in through the mountain as we were hiking, and we got to the top and we hiked this ridge line with like trees, and it looked like something out of the Lord of the Rings, or like the Shire, or like just like tendrils of light coming down through the treetops as we like hiked through this ridge line.
We were able to experience every part of it together, which I think was super special. Be it riding in a tiny boat back to the port from our lodging in Mompiche, swimming in waterfalls in the cloud forest, stumbling across a dance party on the beach and joining in.
This was really cool because not only were we able to explore how geographically diverse each of these places are that we had visited, but we were able to gain a sense of understanding of how culturally diverse they are as well. Overall, each of these trips were beautiful, insightful, and definitely a highlight of my time there.
I think the most fun part of SST for me was getting to know my fellow SSTers better.
We had so much time to both see everything, but also have downtime to hang out with each other. Rock climbing, going into the water, and on beaches, playing ping pong.
Getting crammed into a really tiny subway car, or, getting derailed from our service places and all sent back to the central location.
Fun to see all their personalities and the way they interact with each other, and watching them try new foods.
I didn't know anyone in my group prior to SST very well, But looking back, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
It was so fantastic. I felt like I got to know all of these wonderful people through this experience.
Those shared memories, small and large, good and bad, are easily the most fun part of SST.
The most difficult aspect of SST for me was communicating with my host families, as neither of them spoke any English, and my Spanish at the time was pretty weak.
Spanish language was really difficult for me while I was on SST. I've never been confident in a class or in my ability to use Spanish. Conversations that would have taken a minute in English took me 10 to struggle through in Spanish.
But I've definitely grown to appreciate this as my Spanish improved a lot more rapidly because I didn't speak any English.
Looking back, I'm so grateful for all of those hard conversations. And every conversation made me a little more confident. I was more willing to try things the next time, try a new verb tense.
Looking back, my service experience was something that I appreciate the most now. There were definitely hard times, but there were definitely also really rewarding moments, and kind of like being tossed in a pool and learning how to swim. I was able to quickly gain skills in areas like childcare, conflict resolution, self-efficacy, and so much more that I never would have learned otherwise.
Also, just navigating such a big city, it was a good experience to have to deal with public transportation and learn how to get to places on my own and navigate such a large city.
Something that I learned very quickly upon arriving to Ecuador is that when you go to the public restroom, toilet paper is not provided. You have to bring your own toilet paper. And let me tell you that rationing toilet paper was a lesson that I didn't realize would be so important in my life.
SST changed my view on the world by sort of showing me the bigger picture and like a broader worldview.
It almost catches you off guard how much the rest of the world knows about the United States compared to the United States' knowledge of the rest of the world.
But it also showed me that there's more than one place I can be. I think before I thought there's a straight and narrow path and there's a couple options you get to choose, but I think if you put your mind to it, I think you can do a lot more than you'd like, or you think you can.
Most of my knowledge about Ecuador came from Spanish classes where I learned about some Latin American cultures and geographies. Once I went on SST, I was actually able to experience those things for myself. And so now when I think about Ecuador, I don't think about these facts that I learned in high school or college. I think about the people I worked with on my service part, or the children I was working with there, and also my host families. They were really special. It was such an opportunity, such a privilege to be able to live with them and experience or see their joys and also their challenges.
I was with my host parents during service, and one time we went out to buy some bread, and I was just goggling mind, just looking around, it was incredible, all these sights, all these new people, it was insane, it was crazy. I reflect back on it now, and I'm realizing that for them, it was no different than as if you would go to Martin's. What I'm trying to say is the thing that was shaped my perspective is that something that's so commonplace to us can seem incredible to someone when they come in from the outside.
It causes you to reflect on your life in a way that many other experiences really don't give you.
Being able to live with a new family in a new place sort of shows you just another way to go about life, and it shows you that the way that you're used to isn't necessarily the only good way. It was just super nice to take 3 months to slow down my pace and just be able to take the time to reflect and improve on myself.
GC students should go on SST because it's definitely a life-changing experience.
If you haven't been out of the country much, I think it's a great opportunity.
I think everybody should get the chance to go to a different country. It's life-changing in almost every way.
And I know that sounds really cliche to say, but it's true. The new culture is just a good experience to have. You get more perspective about how other people in the world live, what's different, and that different can be good, it can be bad. It's all just up to your own perspective. But I think it's very important for people to have that different experience so that they just see a little bit outside of what the norm is where they live and what their daily experience is like.
And the neat element is the relationships that you develop both with other students, with your leaders, and with the people in the host country.
Before I went on SST, I actually didn't really want to go at all. I was enjoying my life, everything was great, and I really didn't want to throw a wrench in that. But upon reflection after SST, I realized how important it was to take the time to really reflect on my life and think, what do I want from a life? Because when you're on SST, you're not in your normal circumstances. You're thrown out there into the open with very little communication skills and just having to make your way through it all. And that causes you to notice so many different things about the world around you. I noticed what sort of things my families did, what sort of things the community does, and it just really made me stop and think, how do I want my family to fit into my life, and what sort of things are really important in life?
What makes SST unique as compared to other exchange programs? Very, very few college and university exchange programs have a host family stay the entire time. You know, when you live with a family, you really get to experience the culture of that country much more so than living in a dorm.
So it was interesting to see the different paces of life and those smaller communities compared to much larger cities.
To kind of get to see how diverse Ecuador really is.
Their peace of mind, you know, they're more calm. They wake up early, 5 a.m., they work until 10. That's something I really took from me, was that connection to the nature, where the food comes, and to be grateful for the food we have.
But I think the nerves are real, partially just because we've gotten into a routine here, and that routine feels really good and it feels really comfortable now.
So to have that comfort just kind of taken away suddenly, I'm fairly nervous about it, but I also know that it is likely going to be a very formative experience for me.
But in that unknown, there's also so much excitement that I feel.
I think I personally connected with my brother more than anyone else in my family, who agree on a lot of things with him, and honestly it was kind of crazy. I had to get matched up with him, so it was really awesome.
In some of these that went on, it's kind of a small town, really small town feel. All dirt roads, the only part that's actually paved is just the plaza area. And plenty of dogs. Dogs literally everywhere. Anywhere you look, there's a dog.
So I just lived for 3 weeks in the indigenous village of Basquitay, Ecuador. It was a very humble house that I lived in, all dirt floors, cement, walls.
With my family, it was very unique too. I had 6 brothers, 1 sister, a very big family. I always wanted different experience, and I definitely got that with my indigenous community.
Yeah, I probably had the chillest or easiest job, if you could even call it that, on service. So in the morning, I would feed the pigs. Sometimes I would pick avocados after that.
Service equals reflection. Service does not equal productivity.
Bad service is not listening to people, not having a relationship with them, and just doing what you think they need. Service is all about relationships. Service is listening, and I think that is a critical part of relationships.
One of my favorite memories from Tanzania SST happened during my first weekend on service with my new host family. It was very difficult for me to communicate with them since they spoke no English. That weekend, my host sister kept telling me we were going somewhere and that I should get ready to go. I couldn't tell where we were going, and I tried asking questions, but I still could not understand. I decided to just go with the flow and get ready. We left the house walking with several baskets with dishes and food. We walked down the hill our house was on and took a little path across the stream. As we got closer, I recognized that we were headed towards the local dispensary, which is what they call their medical clinics. Turns out my host mom had a little restaurant that she ran, providing breakfast and lunch to the dispensary staff. Also, one of the other SSTers, Anne, was working there at the dispensary for her service placement. My host mom made me some chai and chapati, a traditional Tanzanian breakfast, and I sat and talked to the dispensary workers and Anne while my mom and host sister finished working. It was a nice surprise to see Anne and enjoy the food that my host mom made after a frustrating week of trying to communicate in a new language and adjusting to a new family.
Hello, my name is Shelby Yantz. I went on Tanzania SST and I wanted to share one of my favorite moments with you, or one of my favorite experiences. On my service portion, I got to teach at a primary school in grade 3 and I taught English. It was the best time, but it also had a lot of challenges, one of those being the language barrier between Swahili and English. My students had a hard time understanding me a lot of the time, and I had a hard time understanding them, but I loved them so much and it was so much fun. Because of that language barrier, I had to come up with creative ways to teach them English, so we sang a lot of songs, and one day I took a video of a song that I taught them, and I just wanted to share that with you. So enjoy this video of my 3rd grade students singing a song.
Platinums. It's Kelpie vibes. Get down, hey. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. No. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. No. Jaja, your booty, Jaja, baby. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja.
I swear your love give me fever. All the time you come and done the shiver. Now you be the one, just believe it. La diva, my diva. Oh, you turn Batman to Cena with your sexy body, Carolina. For your love, I go fight like John Cena. Hata kama nikiwa nguvu sina, kupe kila kitu mchana kwa usiku, tufanye mavitu baby, mavitu, kupe kila kitu mchana kwa usiku, tufanye mavitu baby, vitu baby, so take it slow na pa wine.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja.
No.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja.
No.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja, baby. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja, baby.
I hope you know say this is say where you carry for back in they make me the quick, baby, quick. Kankupa kiwese nese zamendani na rungu komredi kipepepe ooh la la la, your body fine, now when you whine you blow my mind. Ooh la la la, I don't wanna waste your time, so please be nice, so make you mine. Ooh la la, kissing in the rain, fall from the morning till the night. Ooh la la la, la kupe kila kitu mchana kwa usiku, tufanye mavitu baby, mavitu, kupe kila kitu mchana kwa usiku, tufanye mavitu baby, vitu baby, so take it slow na pa wine.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja.
No.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja.
No.
Jaja, your booty, Jaja, baby. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja. Jaja, your booty, Jaja, baby.
Thanks so much for sharing those experiences. I hope you all enjoyed it. We continue to believe that we need SST now more than ever, that immersive experiential learning in a new culture creates global citizens sensitive to the dignity of all people and equipped to collaborate on the world's most pressing problems. And it's also a really amazing adventure. SST at Goshen College is part of your tuition and for every Goshen College student, whether you're an athlete or a commuter, international student, or from any major. Let us help you work through the finances and the logistics of going, and do that early by contacting the SST office or myself at jans@goshen.edu, and check out our webpage at goshen.edu/SST. You don't want to miss this chance to see new places, stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, live with host families, study a critical global issue, work as a volunteer with amazing local people, and position yourself with skills and experiences that employers and graduate schools are seeking. Consider going to a Native American reservation, to Ecuador, China, or Indonesia today. Thanks very much and have a good day.